Hello everybody, welcome to the final episode of our Jaguar XK150 restoration. This is a long time coming. If you go back and look at the previous 13 episodes, you can see we stripped this car down to its bare chassis and built it back up from nothing. And in this video, we'll look at some of the final touches. This includes an incredible bright red interior by my friend Jeff Chrysler. Then we'll take it out on the road. I'll show you how it sounds, how it performs. And then finally, we'll end up at my friend Rudi Koniczek's. He is a retired 300 SL restorer. He has an amazing attention to detail and a really cool collection of Morgans that we'll check out. So yeah, lots to look forward to in this episode. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, before we get into it and working on the car and showing it off, I really want to talk about what it takes to make a car like this reliable. It's a big step to make this car look cosmetically almost perfect inside and out, but to get it as a reliable daily is a whole nother task, and that's what I've been doing over the last few weeks. And some of the things that have come up have been my fault. This car has been back to the paint shop, it's been back to the upholstery shop. Some of the parts have failed, some of the new parts have failed. And that's where it really takes some patience and some know-how to deal with these issues as they come up and address them in a patient and effective manner. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is tour this car. We'll go all the way around it. We'll go inside. There's a beautiful interior installed by my friend Jeff Chrysler. We'll look underneath it. I'll show you some of the things I have to work on and some of the things that failed on this car. But yeah, I guess my main thought is that these things take patience. Things go wrong with classic cars, and this car is definitely no exception. And I think sometimes when you watch other people, especially these restoration shows, their car gets hammered out in a few weeks with no issues. And that really isn't the way these things really go down. Things happen, like for instance, I had a frost plug leak on this thing. I'll show you that. And it's died on me a few times. And that's regular, that's part of it. Usually I tell my customers, when we're doing a car like this, you can expect 10, 15, sometimes even 20 things that'll need adjusting. And it's all part of the process to make a reliable classic. Okay, let's get it up in the air. Let's have a look underneath. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Before I begin, I just want to mention that this car isn't done to what I consider concours standards. Concours to me is as it was delivered from the factory. And for this car, we did what we wanted. We probably improved a lot of areas. Like this car looks probably a lot shinier than it did from the factory underneath. And that really let us make a car, I think, that is more individually suited to what the customer wanted. And I'm absolutely thrilled that this car turned out really nicely. One of the areas that the customer specified was that you wanted all the harbor and cadmium seals bumper bolts up there and silver cadmium. I think a lot of that would have been black oxide from new. And so, yeah, we really went the extra step with this car to try to make it the finish and fit like a modern car, which is pretty tough because when we look above here, I'll show you areas that were really, really tricky to get right, because from the factory, these cars just weren't built to the same standards that they are nowadays. So we can see we got the suspension fully rebuilt, new bearings, new bushings, replated hardware, new discs on there. Again, if you go back through, I think there's like 13 other episodes in this car. You can see all these components going back together. Got the Koni shock absorbers, got the 4-pot anodized aluminum calipers on there, so a really nice upgraded front braking system, which I like. See the bottom of the engine poking through here. Got the timing indicator there. Now this engine was fully balanced. You can see the little drilled marks on that engine balance, on the engine harmonic balancer. It has a spin-on filter like so many Jags do. And I do have a bit of coolant here. I'll explain that a little later. I had a leaky frost plug. And I'll show you what that was like and the repair that we had to do, that I had to do. Now we go to the transmission. This is a Tremec T5 transmission. It gets a little cooked by the left-hand muffler system, which I'm not thrilled about, but it barely fits in there. You can see the way it fits in with the wooden floors nestled in there. It's a tight fit, everybody. I wouldn't I'm not the hugest fan of the packaging here because it did foul that muffler system a little bit. But eventually we got there, and it is a nice shifting transmission, I'll admit that. While I'm leaning down here, you can see the full extent of this stainless exhaust system. This thing sounds glorious. It sounds better than an E-Type. And yes, so we have the fuel pump here. Now, as I take this off, it's leaking. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's glistening at me a bit. That's because at the top here it's leaking. So we're gonna have to take this off and try to fix that today. It's one of the many tasks we have to do. You can just see how clean it is. The fuel line running along here, and all these supports for the body and the wooden floors. This piece here is often missing on restorations. It's a little panel that always rusts out because it collects dirt and debris from the tires. We'll come to the rear here, the rear end. It's been fully rebuilt to a 3:5:1 ratio, and it's a really nice ratio to have with the Tremec, really popular ratio to have with the Tremec. And one thing I did know was I really fussed about the ride height. These are new rear springs I put in here, and one of them actually needed to be spaced downward a bit because the right-hand side of the car, was a little too high. So you can see that square spacer in there. Upgraded to the square pad brakes. Those were all finished with cadmium as well. Got aluminum fuel tank here, painted black. And you can see all the spare wheel well there nestles into it quite nicely. And yeah, that's really just a quick tour underneath this car. It's so clean everywhere we look. You look up in here, you can see the way the fender's mounted. It is really the highlight of the car is how nicely fit and finished we spent the time to make it look as good as it does. See, the chassis had a little bit of jack marks here and there, but that was fine. Putting filler in there and having it fall out and flake out over time isn't exactly what I want to do. Have a look at the pedals here. There's actually some master cylinders hiding there. They're great big pedals, floor-mounted pedals. I'm not a fan of floor-mounted pedals. It reminds me of a Porsche 911. The E-Type definitely improved on that quite a bit. All right, well, let's take off this wheel. I'll show you that leaky frost plug I had over here on the passenger side. Nothing's more satisfying than beating these knockoffs. Okay, let's see if my frost plug fix worked. It happens to the best of us. When I got this car back from a few test drives, this frost plug underneath the intake manifold was leaking coolant. So I reseated it, resealed it, and it seems to have worked. Yeah, this is a pretty common thing to have happen. These frost plugs start leaking, and you gotta deal with them. Otherwise, eventually they'll pop out. The engine will lose all its coolant. You have a potential overheat situation. So it's good to get that fixed, all part of the process. So I guess while we're in here, we can have a look. This is my battery setup. I used an E-Type holder, a 12-volt setup, because originally this car had two 6 volts on either side. So I think that's a nice, elegant kind of solution. We have a look around here. We can see all the original metalwork in white. I think you can even see some of the hammer marks here, if I get the right angle, from the factory. The weld, the two-piece weld for the front fenders. This is factory work as well. What a treat this car was to restore all this original metalwork. Got the HF horn in there, metallic gold, rebuilt those. See the wiring loom here. I protected it as much as I could with some sheathing. And I'll just pull out here. We can see the suspension, the braking system, new hubs, new rotors, new calipers, new bearings, new seals, the whole way. Okay, let's do a cold start. Woo, started right up, love that. Oil pressure's good, 50 pounds. Turn over about 1,000 RPM. You can really hear that starting carburetor working. Next up, I want to do a tour of the interior. This was work by my friend Jeff Chrysler. He has a company called Right Way Heritage Trimming. And he also has a YouTube, and he did a video on installing all these pieces. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description below. So what are we looking at? This is a British-made BAS interior that Jeff expertly installed. And I think it's about as close to XK perfection as you can get. He re-dyed the leather. I mean, even this door panel, in his video, he shows the process of taking all these 6 pieces and putting them in there. And I think the result is just spectacular. Now going into detail, I think this is a brand new steering wheel out of Taiwan. I love that green glove box in there and all the dash pieces all done up really nicely. Now in the center here is a special piece that only came on the drop heads, an aluminum instrument fascia, and it's been re-anodized, and all the chrome around it has been re-chromed by Randy at Electroshine. And if I just pull back here, we can see the new headliner with the plexiglass sun visors. This mirror here was almost unrestorable, but I did get the original screws back in there. They're small head screws that fit in there really nicely. Kind of has a nice shape to it when you look at it from here. See the shape of that mirror? Then we can go to the back here. It's trimmed really nicely. The interior light works. Bear with me here. I gotta push this seat down. You can see what little jump seats in here look like. Again, the trimming is so well done. Thanks, Jeff. This car is really amazing. And this paneling here comes down as well. So if you wanted to pass through some skis or maybe some golf clubs, you can get to the trunk area. And this panel in here is pretty nicely done. Jeff tells me I think this is the later panel in the rear. There's a different panel on the early cars, but this is the one that was provided. Yeah, pretty spectacular interior. What do you guys think? All right, everybody, we're gonna take the XK150 for a drive. I think this might be my last really meaningful drive in the XK150. So yeah, this is gonna be a final farewell. Now we're gonna head over to my friend Rudi. He is a passionate and retired automotive restorer here on the island. And he's been my mentor for a lot of years and encouraged me to do what I do. And I've always strived to achieve anything to his level. You'll see once we get there, hopefully he'll let us look around in his showroom. But yeah, I'm really excited just to be in the area, be around Rudi, and get a little bit more of influence from him because he's such an important guy when it comes to automotive restoration here on Vancouver Island. All right, let's go for a drive. So we got power steering, super light, pretty amazing. He's coming down the hill. So I love the sound of this car. Powerful, comfortable, quiet, solid. Yeah, this car is just phenomenal behind the wheel. Light steering, does everything right. So that's third. We got fourth, which is direct drive. And then if we're really cruising, we can put it in fifth. Listen to that. I can barely hear the engine ticking over. Oh, you guys are shaking.
Love it already. Old English white. Holy yodel. One of my favorite shapes of all time, you know, is this XK120, 140, 150.
Yeah, it
It's so
definitely has
pure.
the French
It is.
lines.
There's a big French influence in it. You know, magnificent. I mean, these
Thank
are
you.
really difficult bodies to make straight because there's so many flat panels.
Yeah, it's definitely a slab-sided car. You're right.
It's huge.
So you see the
Yeah.
gaps that
Yeah,
Jetstream
nice.
Jason worked on.
Very nice.
So what I think is kind of interesting about showing you this car is a lot of the talent that was put into this car were people that you brought up into the trade.
Well, thank you.
Dave did the metal work.
Yeah.
Even Tommy helped me with the diff.
Yeah.
And so in a way, you're kind of looking at a restoration that you really influenced and helped along. But you haven't seen it yet.
This is the first time, and I'm just.
Have a seat.
Yeah. No, it looks.
Isn't it amazing how easy it is to get in and out? No sill. Look how wide the
it's
door
gorgeous.
opens.
Absolutely gorgeous. Jeff did the interior, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, just flawless. Absolutely flawless.
Yeah, I tried to really match his level with this,
Yeah.
getting the new
Yeah.
steering wheel.
Yeah. No, and the
And-
quality of the components, like the proper Wilton wool carpeting, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing out of place. Beautiful headliner.
Thank you.
Great headliner. Wow.
So the one modification I did make
Yeah.
is that this piece of aluminum is actually on only came on rare drop heads to kind of really
I like
cheer
it.
it up and make it. That's kind of like what they did with the E-Type, right?
Yeah, I really, really like
Hey,
that.
thanks.
Love it.
One of
It
my
does break it up, you know, because
Yeah.
it's not all just one big massive red.
leather.
I
Yeah.
really, really like this.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, it was hard to find. Stuart at Coventry Auto Components
Yeah.
sold us that. Thanks,
Love
Stuart.
the detail in here too, Richard.
You're getting
Beautifully finished off. All
Thank
in
you.
here.
These
These are difficult cars to restore.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
we're
tell
sort
me.
of cobbled together right from the factory,
Yeah.
right? With
Yeah.
you know the flat headed screws and pop rivets here, there, and everywhere.
Here, pop the hood. One of my favorite quotes from you is "Don't mess with Mona Lisa."
Yeah, you don't want to.
See all this has all been re-chromed and the new rubber.
Yeah, nice.
All of this all takes a lot of work from Randy,
Yeah, Randy's a
who you've supported over all the years.
decades. Yeah, he's
And then-
he's a master. I mean, he's the best chrome plater you could ever have.
See, landing this chrome right on the aluminum boot.
Yeah. Just magnificent.
Pop the trunk
Lovely.
here. It's kind of
Absolutely lovely.
kind
Love
of.
the detail,
Hey, thanks.
you know, the proper screws.
Pop the trunk there. It has a really interesting setup. Has a strut.
Oh my God, yeah. I love the Hardura.
Thanks.
You know, all the components, the leather strap here, this is all proper and correct. It really,
Thanks.
really is. Really, really is. Richard, there's the attention to detail.
Hey, thanks.
The gaps, even the way the rubber is
Yeah,
put in, no over glue,
right.
you know.
This was like an hour's work, believe it
Yeah,
or not.
yeah.
Just getting that seated, and then getting the trunk to shut. Oh man.
Ooh, the glass is in really good nick.
Yeah, original glass, original
It's got all
chrome,
the lovely markings.
all the right rubber. It's hard to find some of this rubber. It all
And make
came
them fit.
from different parts of the world.
Yeah.
This is tricky
Nice
to
break-in
fit.
decal. Yep, it is.
This is not easy.
Yeah, the wipers, merely suggestion.
Yeah, right, yeah.
No, how straight that is. Richard, wow.
Hey, thanks.
Just gorgeous. Yeah, Randy's chrome
the
electro
catch is-
shine is just
The catch is right there.
absolutely brilliant, right? Lovely J headlights,
Thanks.
all proper. Are those remanufactured?
Yeah,
Are those
that's a new
reproductions?
one. Yeah, I think they're made in England or Taiwan. And we get a lot of good stuff out of Taiwan. This is
Nice.
re-chromed front bumper. This is
Oh, yeah.
the early XK from '57, so it has the tall bumperettes.
Yeah.
See, they're really tall. And this
Nice
car,
and flat glass lenses.
yeah, thanks.
Nice to see those, right? Because usually now you get them as plastic.
Yeah.
Right, reproductions.
This hood's prop rod's right here.
Wow. Holy shit. Beautifully done. Magnificent. Really.
Well, that means a lot coming from you.
Love the attention to detail. You know, everything right down to the brass nuts and the lock washers, the colors, the ceramic coated headers, the proper wiring, the colors, everything. It's proper and correct in all aspects. It really is, sweetie. Absolutely is.
Look how nice the chassis tag
Oh.
was. That's the original one.
Gorgeous. Yeah, it turned out brilliantly.
And then
I love the CAD plating too. I
Thanks.
mean, it's not over the top, shiny.
yeah, you can see the original factory spot welds where the fender was put in. See?
Yeah.
The original
Love the harness.
new harness.
You know,
model
all proper
sparks.
and correct. Love this stuff. This is.
Well, thank you.
I love the radiator.
Yeah,
too.
that's an aluminum radiator.
Yeah, nicely finished.
So I did satin black
Yeah,
on the matrix, very light
Yeah,
coat,
I
and then
like
a
it.
heavy coat of
Yeah.
black paint on the top to
Yeah,
kind of
I
hide the
love-
fact that it's aluminum.
I love the clamps and the light polish on the aluminum, not overly done. You know,
Right,
it's not
yeah.
bling.
Yeah, It works off the starting carb. This is the original Otter
yeah,
switch
yeah.
that cuts out the starting carburetor in the middle.
That is awesome. I remember it was right when they start sucking air.
Yeah,
It's
that's what it
awesome.
sounds like. Yeah. See how nice the hood is underneath the original hood? All the.
But I love the linkage too. And all
Thanks.
of this stuff. Lovely done.
So do I pass the test?
Oh. And more.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you
Hey,
guys.
right on,
I
thanks.
really am. You know, it's been an honor for me to be involved with these cars since 1965. And, you know, I've been in business here in Victoria now since 1971. And it's just an honor for me to have been able to meet young people like yourselves and all the guys that used to work for me. And pass on the journey and the passion that I have for automotive artwork to a younger generation.
Blown away.
Yeah, I really am. I'm so proud of you, actually.
Hey, thanks.
You and the entire team. I'm
Right
so
on.
proud of you guys that young people are taking an interest in this automotive art, you know? Because it's rolling sculpture.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
It's kinetic art, right? And then when you start looking at stuff like this, the shapes, the forms, I mean, it's you immerse yourself in the art.
Right. And then it's functional too. It'll get you to the supermarket.
Yeah. Knockout. Absolute knockout.
Hey, thanks. Well, let's see what you've been up to.
Come on in. Nice and warm down here.
Oh, look at all this. Yeah.
This is our private garage.
I'm gonna go slow on this one. Wow. Oh my. Holy moly. Wow, there's a lot of great stuff in here, Rudy. Look at these
A lot
SL.
of great art.
Look at that art there. Holy. Yeah, but oh man, look at these SLs. This Roadster. Wow. Amazing. Well done. We're gonna have to kill the music. Another SL. Wow, look at the one in blue there. Oh, wow.
These are some of my retired motorcycles.
Look at that. That's so amazing. On the Rudge wheels. Beautiful. 10 years ago. It looks like it was done yesterday.
And he drives it.
That, oh, Jesus. That melts my heart. That is so utterly unbelievable.
This car's sitting here with the door behind it. You gotta look at
Okay.
when you look at the Gullwing.
Yeah.
You look at the background. And
Okay.
that's a factory shot of the assembly line.
Oh, yeah,
In
right.
1954.
Yeah, you can kind of get the idea of what it may have been like back then.
Yeah.
How unbelievable would that have been? Wow. Pretty amazing looking British cars in front of us.
Well, you know, when I first came to Victoria in 1971, I had my shop at 949 View Street. And I started my first company called Pacific Competition Developments, race and rally preparation, sports car tuning. And there were so many cool British cars here in Victoria in the early 70s. And I had a great business. And I always loved British cars. I love their simplicity, I like their artistry, I love, especially Morgans, you know, they're all handmade.
Yeah, look at these Morgans. Wow. And an E-Type too.
Yeah,
Good on ya.
This is a 62.
Yeah.
This here is a super rare Morgan. This is a +8 Le Mans 62. And they made 40 of these. And this is chassis number 01.
01. Look at that hardtop.
40. And they're all identical to this.
Yep.
And this was the personal car of Charles Morgan for the first year.
Nice.
And then it's called a Le Mans 62 because Morgan won their class at Le Mans in 1962, and then in 2002 they went back to racing at Le Mans. And so to commemorate that 40 years, they built 40 of these.
What a great tribute.
Yeah, and they're this one is powered by a V8,
Yeah.
5-speed, all aluminum body, and we're the only ones this side of the Atlantic Ocean that have a Le Mans 62.
Yeah, I've never seen one before.
Yeah, in fact,
That's wonderful.
Here's our registry, 01.
Oh, look at that. That's neat.
Yeah.
I like that badge on there.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
This
So that's
room.
a 2002. This one here is a 2005
Yeah.
V6 Roadster.
Wow. Look at the color.
Yeah, this is a really cool color. It's called Grigio Ingrid, and it's a Ferrari color.
Oh.
And the story with the color is that Roberto Rossellini, the director, the Italian
Yeah.
director, married to Ingrid Bergman.
Yeah.
And as a birthday present to Ingrid, Rossellini, who was great friends with Enzo Ferrari, asked him to build a PF Cabriolet for her birthday present, and had it painted in this color. And so when Charles Morgan saw this color on a Ferrari at a car show in Monte Carlo, he went back to his people at the Morgan factory and said, "Guys, we got to paint a car this really cool Ferrari color. It's called Grigio Ingrid."
Yeah, it's really like a light
almost like a
metallic
champagne.
champagne. Yeah. Look at the wood in there.
Yeah, and
Well,
so-
this.
And so this is the car.
I think this is the most opulent Morgan I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it's a V6. You know, it's running a 3-liter Ford V6. And I bought this from the CFO of Microsoft, and he had this at his home in Friday Harbor, Washington.
Amazing.
And then my dear friend Terrace Cherison, who made all of our luggage, you know, when we were in business there for. Yeah, he came on board about 40 years ago and started building luggage for us. And so he heard I had bought this, and he asked me for a photograph. So I sent him a photograph of Ingrid. And 3 months later, FedEx arrives with this box. Open the box, and as a gift for
Unbelievable.
all the work that we've given
Yeah.
Paris,
Yeah.
this was a gift from him. And it's just exquisite when the way it's, the coloring, everything,
Yeah. That is
and the Morgan wings.
beautiful. Love
It's neat.
the inlay, the way that's done with the leather.
Yeah.
That's
On this one here,
yeah.
I bought from the original owner that bought that car brand new in New York City in 1963.
Wow.
And I have all the correspondence from him and the Morgan factory. And also, the distributor for Morgan for the United States in the late 50s and early 60s was a company called the Fergus Motor Company in New York City. And you got to see this over here.
Okay.
See the Morgan script right here? The Morgan script, that lovely script.
Yeah.
And then go to the left down here.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
Yeah, by Fergus Motors.
Wow.
And
Neat.
Fergus Motors had their own internal numbering system for their cars. And here it is right here.
Oh, isn't that
There's a
interesting?
little plaque. Fergus
What?
Motor Company, New York, New England.
How very British of them.
No kidding.
Put their mark on it.
Isn't that exquisite?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm the second owner. Patty and I are the second owner.
Congrats.
Of this car. We're just blown away with able to
What a
be
great
the next
home.
caretakers
Yeah.
for this one, right?
What a great home
Always
for it.
caretakers for stuff.
Yeah.
And look, even the original tax disc from 1963 here.
That's the original one?
Right here.
I wonder how much tax they had to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I love stuff like this.
And this over here is our newest edition. This one here, this is a 1962 Drophead Coupe, 3-position Drophead Coupe.
Wow.
And we're the third owner of this one. The first owner was a lady who had an art gallery in Santa Monica. She bought it in Santa Monica. And she drove it for decades and decades. A beautiful original car, original black plate California car.
Good California, nothing beats that.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, wow, look, a real door there on a Morgan
And-
with a
and look at the
window.
lovely script.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
You know,
then
the
I
cool
think
thing
this-
about these early Morgans, the seats are inner tubes inside. Inside there's a
What?
inner tube ladder, so you can actually inflate the seat if you want a firmer ride, or deflate it.
That's so British, all your springing is in the seat bottom.
Yeah.
And the woodwork in these is really neat too. It's kind of different from the
Very,
from
very
the,
different.
from the plus 4.
Yeah. So they made 422.
And a proper top, right?
A real proper 3-position drop head,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
this is the
yeah.
first position.
Yeah.
The second position would be roll this back to here. That's the second position.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the third
Yeah.
position is all the way down. And beautiful glass. You know, there's no
Yeah, yeah.
perspex side curtains.
What I like about the drop head is it makes the Morgan look so much more elegant. It has
Yeah.
this belt line if you
Yeah,
right
absolutely.
behind you that kind of.
Yeah. And also the drop heads never had louvers in the hood.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The windscreen's way higher. So they call this the snob model, right? Or the posh model.
I never even noticed the windshield was at a different
Yeah,
rake.
and
You're right.
Very, very different. This is the most, what shall I say, opulent Morgan. It's also the best for weather equipment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just love the silhouette of
Really
it.
cool
Wow.
badge. You went to-
Another minute.
Right here's a little badge, and it says the black sheep of the Morgan family. So they started building drophead coupes in 1938,
Yeah,
and they stopped in 1968, and they made 422 of these.
yeah, pretty rare then.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Beautiful color combination. Lovely patina on this one. You know, look at that in there. The beautiful instruments, all cream colored.
Watch
with
your
Morgan
door there.
script. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that steering wheel. I love the steering
the
wheel.
banjo.
The
Yeah,
Blue
Brooklands.
Mel's,
Yep.
Brooklands. Yeah. And the white gauges. It's hard to see in there. It's kind of dark. But yeah, it's a tight fit, I bet. There's not a lot of room in there.
Yeah, the size of the passenger seat, right?
Yeah. Holy. Yeah, wonderful. Well, congrats. What a nice new piece.
Isn't that lovely? And look at from the back here too. When you look at the way the back end works.
Yeah, right. That's what's so much different from the
Yeah.
other cars is this belt line, the way it comes back, dramatic. Were they putting a bigger tank back there? Is that why it's a little larger?
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, very nice.
I
Awesome.
love the glass. You know, turn
Yeah,
signal lens.
beehives in there. Yeah, the two-tone
Yeah.
also.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's kind of understated with the really dark green. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What an amazing sight. Look at these Morgans, everybody. This is just, what a great garage. I love this lighting in here, the
Oh, the
posters.
lighting. Yeah, isn't it
Everything you've done here is
Thank you.
just the
And you know,
best.
this was our workshop. This was,
Right.
for 30 years, this was our workshop. We're 8 full-time employees, crew members, members of the family.
Now
right?
I've-
I mean, we had 8 guys work here for almost 30 years.
Wow.
And the place almost looked like the original factory. This whole place
Yeah.
was just filled with 300 SLs and other cool stuff. There's our caterum right there. That's a blast to drive. That's goofy. 125 horsepower, weighs 982 pounds. This is our Sunbeam Tiger Mark II. We're the third owner. That's an original Victoria car, bought brand new here in Victoria in 1967 by a gentleman called Ellis Ackman. He's a lawyer. And I used to service the car when I had my shop down on View Street in the early 70s. This is a Mark II.
Mark II, very rare model.
Very
And
rare.
Jason at Jetstream helped you out with this
Absolutely.
restoration.
I mean, the crew at Jetstream did an incredibly beautiful, beautiful job on this.
It really has the same kind of color combination with the hardtop as that Le Mans 62 behind
That's
us.
what I wanted.
Yeah,
Because it originally
yeah.
had a green hardtop.
Yeah.
And I thought,
Wow, look at this.
yeah, and I just thought, here's two hybrids. The English with a Buick-derived V8,
Yeah, yeah,
and another English car with an American.
right.
V8.
Anglo-American
Right.
kind of
And
hybrid.
this is really cool. 1967, in 66, Chrysler bought the Roots Group. So this is a Roots Group, right? Roots was
Yeah.
Humber, Singer, Sunbeam, and this is the only Sunbeam Tiger, these Mark IIs, with a Chrysler Pentastar on the right flank. Right
What?
down here's
There's a
Chrysler
what?
Pentastar.
Look at that.
Yeah. And a Ford V8 in it.
What?
Yeah, the Mark IIs all had 289s, where the Mark Is and the Mark Is were all 260s. And so this is a Ford 289. So Chrysler, when they bought the Roots Group, did really realize that they were selling a Chrysler product with a Ford motor in it. So that's when they shit-canned the Tiger. But they didn't have a motor small enough to fit in.
I don't think I've ever seen a car with a Chrysler and a
Yeah.
Ford badge
And
on
it
it.
used to say, powered by Ford.
Right.
260.
Right, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
So now it just says Sunbeam V8.
Look at Jason, he has the right rivets on the chassis
Yeah,
tag. Good
absolutely.
man.
Yeah, everything is
Very
properly
nicely
correct.
done.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Including, the Mark IIs had this blue wiring harness.
Oh, yeah, look at the blue
Yeah,
harness.
it has an alternator,
Yeah.
a different brake booster.
Nicely
and so
done.
Again, this is the attention to detail, just like you did with that Jaguar, is bang on.
Yeah, Jason's awesome.
Yeah.
He does such good
Yeah,
work.
yeah. And nice people too. right?
Yeah, Sean too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sean's a
all
great
of them.
painter.
Again, the Mark IIs had backup lights.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They had the script in the back trunk with the Sunbeam. They had these turn signal lenses, instead of being bolted in from the inside, the Mark IIs had them from the outside. Little things like these were bigger on a Mark II.
Geez, you know these Tigers really well, Rudy. Holy.
I probably had
Look at the interior there.
over a dozen Tigers. My first Tiger I drove in 1967, that got me hooked. And so, I belong to Sunbeam Tiger Owners Club, Sunbeam Tiger Owners Association. And behind us is our Mark 1A competition car. This is a full spec rally. It's running, it came originally with a 260. It's running a 289, 275 high performance Ford V8.
This will get you into trouble.
This will get you into trouble. There's my first company.
There you go, look at that.
Pacific
PCD.
PCD tuning.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's our logo.
looks great on
When
there.
I
Right.
designed
yeah.
that logo in 1971. And this has got a full roll cage in it,
Yeah, wow.
full competition harnesses, fire, halon equipment, extinguishers, brake for drifting. Right there, the blue box.
You're drifting, that'd be fun. I don't think I've seen many British classic cars drifting, so I'm gonna have to start a trend
Well,
there.
this is in when you're into gravel.
Here's your old
Yeah,
logo.
that's our logo. When you get into gravel or snow, it helps doing handbrake turns. These are up here to pull yourself out and stuff it into a snowbank.
There's your old
That's my
toolbox.
toolbox. And look at this fuel tank.
Oh, fuel tank in the back, fuel cell. Oh, wow, that's mad. Oh, wow. You can go across Canada.
Yeah. With
Get on to
twin
California,
facet-
maybe.
Twin facet pumps.
Whoa, this thing is really all the way there, Rudy.
Yeah, it
This
is.
isn't just faking it.
No, this is full skid plates. This finished 10th overall in the 2010 Coupe de Alps in France.
Ah, that makes
This is a very
sense.
serious car.
That makes sense.
I love it. And the sound it makes, oh my God.
Look at the memories here on your...
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is when I started in Victoria.
Yeah.
That was my toolbox. When I first came, I used to work for Mercedes-Benz Canada. I started in '65 with them at head office. And so when I came here in 1971, this was my toolbox, and I had this on here, and of course my name was written on there. And I put that in the back seat of my Volkswagen Beetle when I drove across Canada. And here's another cool thing.
Oh, your old repairman plate.
Repairman. You know how rare that is? Because now they all say repairer. Because you can't say repairman anymore. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'll tell Rudi to call. So I've had that since ICBC came into existence. It's been through the war.
That's probably been on a lot of Mercedes. Yeah.
So, you know, as you get, it's more established in business, you add sections. And
Yeah,
sections
yeah,
and sections.
yeah. A lot old relationships, and yeah, I love that.
Yeah, really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, well, thanks for showing us around, Rudi.
Oh,
It's
you're
such a
welcome,
privilege, and it's so enjoyable to come visit you and see what you have going on. You have such good taste, and you know, I'm trying my best to do what you did. You know, just work on these cars and treat them with respect, and
Yeah.
get them back to the way the designers are really envisioned.
You know what I do? I come here every day. Every day I come to my office at 9:30. First thing I do is I come upstairs, I walk in the door and I say, "Good morning, girls." And I turn on lights. And I come in here and I go, "Good morning, girls." I turn on light and I speak to them. And when I leave the shop, I always say, "Good night, girls." Right?
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, that does it for this series. I couldn't do it without an incredible team of people working with me. You know, my dad for getting me out of tricky situations, Jason and the guys at Jetstream for beautiful body and paint, Jeff, Rightway Heritage Trimming, he did all that beautiful interior, and many of my suppliers, S&G Barrett, Moss Motors, Coventry Auto, Electroshine, Mid-Island Machine, couldn't do it without you. And of course, special thanks for Rudi for making this episode that much more special. And the owner, Andres, for trusting me with this incredible XK150. I am very, very pleased with the way this one came out. What do you guys think? All right, that does it for this episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.